It all started with a tweet. The Trump administration decided that Harvard University needed a policy smackdown. The policy targeting visa regulations for international students whose courses moved online sent shockwaves. Harvard, with its significant international student population, found itself in the crosshairs. Imagine being a student thousands of miles from home, suddenly told your legal status was as wobbly as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Universities, already grappling with the pandemic, were thrown another flaming chainsaw to juggle. The message from Washington seemed clear. International students were not a priority. This wasn't just about online classes. It felt like a broader statement. The initial scramble was intense. Students frantically tried to understand the new rules. University administrators lobbied, lawyers were consulted, and a sense of bewilderment permeated campuses. The attack on Harvard signaled a potential turning point where the welcome mat for global talent started to look frayed. The administration's stated reasons were wrapped in the language of national security and fairness to American workers. There were whispers about intellectual property theft and foreign influence on campuses. The idea was that by restricting international student visas, America would be safer. But for the students caught in the middle, these justifications offered little comfort. The reality was a bureaucratic nightmare. Imagine trying to secure a visa, plan your studies, and arrange your life, only to have the rules change abruptly. Many students, particularly from China and Hong Kong, found themselves in an agonizing limbo. The stress was immense. Consulates were swamped, communication was unclear, and the human cost of these policy shifts began to mount. Universities like Harvard and MIT sued the administration, arguing the rules were arbitrary and detrimental to their educational mission. The legal battles added another layer of uncertainty, leaving students as pawns in a larger political game. The message received by many international students was one of unwelcomeness, a stark contrast to the open arms they had expected. As the US appeared to be closing its doors, other nations saw an opportunity. China, and by extension Hong Kong, were well positioned to capitalize on this academic uncertainty. Hong Kong's universities, offering world-class education with strong international links, became more attractive. China had been strategically investing in its own higher education system for years. The double first-class university plan aims to develop elite Chinese universities into world-class institutions by 2050. When the US made life difficult for Chinese students, it played into Beijing's hands. The Chinese government highlighted the advantages of its own academic sector, encouraging its brightest to stay home. Hong Kong's universities, conducting programs in English and with strong international faculties, offered a distinct alternative. For international students wary of the US political climate, Hong Kong presented a stable, high-quality option. Both mainland China and Hong Kong actively promoted their educational offerings. Scholarships were made more available, research funding increased, and efforts were made to attract international academics. The US administration's policies inadvertently created a golden opportunity for its chief geopolitical rival. China's ambition in the education sector is a long-term, meticulously planned grand strategy. The Project 211 and Project 985 initiatives, launched in the 1990s, funneled significant resources into select universities. The goal is to transform China from the world's factory into the world's laboratory and think tank. By creating uncertainty for Chinese students in the US, Washington encouraged more to pursue education domestically. This aligned with Beijing's desire to retain top talent and build world-class universities. The Thousand Talents Plan proactively recruited top academics and scientists from around the world. The result is a rapidly improving Chinese higher education landscape, with universities like Tsinghua and Peking climbing global rankings. For decades, the United States was the undisputed heavyweight champion of higher education. The American university system was the dream destination for ambitious students worldwide. But policies targeting international students began to tarnish that brand. The United States started to look less welcoming, more insular and unpredictable. China, with its massive investment in education, was perfectly positioned to benefit. The rising quality of Chinese universities began to change minds. Instead of the US being the default choice, it became one of several options. This wasn't just about students, it was about global academic collaboration and soft power. the United States risked losing a generation of future leaders who might have become its strongest allies. China was busy cultivating those relationships, strengthening its global network of influence. The sands of educational power were visibly shifting. The ripple effects of these policy shifts extended far beyond university admissions. For years, the United States benefited from a global brain gain, attracting top scientists and researchers. When the welcome mat was pulled back, it signaled to this global talent pool that their contributions might be less valued. Simultaneously, China was rolling out the red carpet. Its massive investments in research and development translated into state-of-the-art laboratories and generous grants. Chinese scientists who had studied abroad were actively recruited to return. This sea turtle phenomenon became a significant driver of China's R&D boom. The result has been a remarkable surge in China's innovative capacity. The United States administration's policies inadvertently helped accelerate China's journey towards becoming a global innovation hub. Innovation's address was increasingly being written in Mandarin. For generations, the global flow of academic talent was largely towards the United States. The policies that created uncertainty for international students hinted at a possible reversal. China was a primary beneficiary, with fewer Chinese students opting for the United States. Many who had studied or worked there began to see more compelling reasons to return home. This reverse flow of talent is a significant development. Other countries also saw an opportunity to attract talent that might have chosen the United States. The global competition for talent is fierce, and any perception of instability creates openings for others. The United States, by appearing to stumble, energized its competitors in the global race for brains. The long-term implications of this shifting talent flow are profound. The events surrounding Trump's policies towards Harvard signaled a potential turning point in global education. American universities fostered goodwill and deep connections between the United States and the world. When that system was perceived to be less welcoming, it created an opening for other nations. China's investment in its higher education sector accelerated its rise as an educational powerhouse. The competition for global influence is increasingly being fought in laboratories and lecture halls. The United States faces a critical choice: continue down a path that risks diminishing its status or reaffirm its commitment to openness. Rebuilding trust with the global academic community will take time and effort. The future of American innovation may depend on its ability to be seen as a beacon for the world's brightest minds. Meanwhile, China is unlikely to slow down, with its educational ambitions intertwined with its broader geopolitical goals. The game has changed, and the United States needs to decide how it wants to play.